Beautiful sunny day here in New Brunswick. It's around the 18th or 19th of March, I don't know, somewhere around there. It's Sunday. Anyway, the snow is melting, which is great to see. It's been a long winter. We had a dump of snow here not long ago, I'd say within the last few days, and it got pushed off a bit. And now it's getting to the point where it's starting to melt again, so that's good. We kind of like that. So I'm going in the garage here. Do a little tour of the garage real quick, and then I gotta go. But so there's shelving that I put up there last year, and it's got a goodly amount of car parts on it, mostly to do with the Charger 68, uh, and some other stuff that we have up top there, glass and body panels for other cars. It's really quite a mess. Most of it's stored according to the car, but there is stuff up there that it's kind of a random job of everything, and I gotta get it sorted out. Uh, the 2010 Challenger, Purpley, he's been sitting here all winter, waiting for the day when snow will go down and get him back out again. Um, that's going to be a month or so away, even at the best of it. I'm not going to bother taking him out again because last time I took him out it snowed, and that was last year and the year before, so same idea, I don't want to do it again. So it's going to sit over here. That's the 68 Charger RT. Doesn't look like much right now because I stripped all the body panels off it last year in preparation of installing all the AMD panels that I have for it. So that was last May that I stripped the parts off of that, and I got this car down to this point, shoved it in here, and started demolishing the old garage in preparation to build the new one. So this was done to get it to this state and to sell the panels that were on it, and they went down the road, and so now it's ready almost to start putting panels on. But yeah, there's still a bit of work to be done before that. I've got the trunk pan sitting on there basically to provide a shelf for other parts. That's about all. This door is off a Magnum, a Dodge Magnum 78 or 79, and it's going to be going on the Chrysler 300. And there's another door behind it, as you can see. And I've been collecting up hubcaps as of late. Got a box of them over there too. And the idea is that I'm going to put them up there with these ones when I can get to the wall and put them up. So this is the 69 Fargo. I got it out in Saskatchewan, St. Brie, Saskatchewan. Paid $200 for it. I drove out with my truck and trailer and picked it up at a farm. It belonged to the son of the original owner. Had been sitting since 1983 with the windows down. Actually, one window gets shot out of it with pellets, and the other ones all get damaged by pellets. And so the interior got soaked, and the floor went, and that was the end of the floor. So anyway, I got the truck. It was a slant 6 column shift automatic, and I swapped it over to a 383. And I've got a Crown Victoria, a Ford Crown Victoria front end under it, and I've got police car wheels on it, the LH style police car wheels. I shortened the frame by about 2 feet, and got a short box on it now. And I flipped the rear axle so that it's on top of the springs instead of underneath. And I've got a few other mods that I'm going to be doing to it, but it mostly will look stock. And it's hopefully on the road this summer if I can get around to it. You know, all the many other things that I have on the go, it's who knows. That's the dashboard out of the 68 Charger, and on top of it is a dash out of a 69 Charger that has the TikTok tack in it. And that's all going to get put together for the 68. There you go, 68. And on top up there, I've got a bunch of grills that I bought from a fellow named Ted Hartley out in Centerville. He had a whole trailer full of parts, or 3 trailers actually, and I got those parts there for cheap, and I plan on selling them just to generate some income so I can continue with my projects. So over here we have cabinets. These are parts cabinets that are from a dealership, I guess, at one point, and that dealership went out of business, or just sold all their inventory off to a fellow in Centerville, and he ended up putting them into those previously mentioned trailers, and I ended up buying them, and now it started me on a bit of a kick for buying Crico cabinets and parts. So the more I can find of that stuff, the better, because I kind of like the looks of it. Up top is an original 1966 Diora model kit, and next to it is a AMT reissue model, which is this model right here, which is MPC, I guess, yeah. And so I built that model when I lived out in Alberta as a prototype for the Diora truck that I built. So I'm building. Behind that is a couple of trophies that were from Penfield, the racetrack back in the day. And I gotta fix a couple of those trophies because they've fallen apart, basically. Okay, so anyway, moving along. It's 2:45, actually, not 2:45, so now I've got 15 minutes to wrap this up. Okay, so going further, yeah, there's the charger. I built this stand to go underneath it to hold it up for moving it around while it's being discombobulated. And I'd already done the bodywork on this car at least once before with all new panels, and those panels were garbage. So I promised myself that I would do the very best job that I could on this car, so that meant taking those panels off and getting rid of them and buying new panels that were actually closer to what the factory had. So this is what's going to happen with this. I had to undo what I had already done. So that meant taking the panels off and going further, taking the rockers off. Even all of the front here is going to be replaced. I have new panels for that. The car was in an accident at one point, and it cracked a lot of the components in the front and bent some of the stuff. So really the only way that it can ever get straight again is to do it over, and so that's what I plan on doing. This is a 400 block. I got that given to me by Ken Adio, and originally he got it from me, I guess, in a roundabout way, and I got it back. I'll be cutting some parts off of it to fix the Hemi block that I have. So the next car is this 71 Charger RT that's buried under a pile of stuff. It was originally sold in Fredericton, ordered in actually by a fellow named Jordy McAllister, and he was working for his father's cleaning business, so he needed the car to get around and monitor all the cleaning areas. So he thought he'd do it in style, so he went in August of 1970 and ordered this car up sight unseen. They hadn't even released these cars yet, and he had no idea what it was going to look like, but he knew he wanted it purple, plum crazy purple, code FC7. He wanted the air grabber hood, which was new for that year, code N96, and he also wanted the white interior with a black vinyl top, which he got. So he drove this car for 5 years, and then he sold it to his cousin, Wayne McAllister, who lives in Sussex Corners, and Wayne drove it for another 5 years, all year round, unfortunately, and that caused it to have some rust issues. And he also drove it into a bridge abutment, which bent the lower splash pan and rad support and a bunch of other stuff. I think that's really what caused the car to stop being driven. And Jordy saw it and wanted it back after seeing what Wayne had done to it. So Jordy got it back, sent it off to a guy to get fixed. The guy did a piss poor job of trying to fix it. Meanwhile, the whole front clip was off the car. Jordy just put it in his garage and left it for 30 years. And eventually he came to me and asked me what to do with it. And I said, fix it up. And he said he didn't have the money or the time or the interest. So He offered it to me, and I bought it from him for $3,500, which was pretty damn cheap. But it's going to cost some real money to restore this car. So here it sits. I've already started with a set of rally wheels that I purchased for it. Brand new tires, front chin spoiler, and a wing in the back, and a bunch of other doodads. It's really quite a car. And being sold originally at Elm City Chrysler in Fredericton, it's got to be a one of one. I've heard it's a one of 6 cars shipped to Canada, so that's pretty damn rare. Over here is a 79 Chrysler 300 that I bought in 1990 in Manitoba, and it was our daily driver for a long time. I think about 9 years. Yeah, about that. We ended up buying an Intrepid in 97, so 6 or 7 years of the only car in the household, and then ended up using it as my car. Well, Lana drove the Intrepid, and I drove it to work for another 4 years after that. And then finally I bought a truck, and I parked this, and it's been sitting ever since. So it's still in great shape. It just needs a little bit of work to get back on the road. We ended up buying one for parts, which accounts for all of the other parts that are laying on it right now, because those parts were what was left over from the other car when I junked it. And they're actually going to help with the restoration of this car, but these were all stored up in the attic of the old garage, and then we tore down that garage, so it got dumped in here. And now I got to figure out a way to put that somewhere. Shelving would be of some use, and actually sort through it to see what's worth doing. The car was a 360 automatic. It still is, and I ended up putting a T-bar roof in it. You can't see that right now, but the T-bar roof is under there. That caused a few issues with the car for structural stability, and one of the reasons I parked it was because it was starting to crack. So I said, okay, we're going to have to do something with the floor pan and the subframes and fix all that. And so that's coming. I got to put the subframe connectors on it, fix the floor pan, and then maybe start working on the body, which really doesn't need an awful lot. Mostly just a scuff and a shoot. So that's good. And it also needs a rear bumper. I have a spare down there. I'll have to get that re-chromed. So that's not too bad. This is a 1968 Barracuda Fastback. I bought this from Corey Alexander in Red Deer, Alberta, for $2,000. It was a really good deal. He got it given to him. The guy that had it was going through divorce. He needed to get rid of the car. It had a 440 in it at the time. He ended up pulling the engine out and a couple other parts he took off and sold. And didn't have anything planned for the body. I offered him $1,000. He said, keep trying. And I said $2,000, and he said, good. So I got it for $2,000, but we paid for it over time, which was kind of cool. So time payments of $500 a month, I think it took to get it, and that was back in 2010. So here it is 7 years later, and it's still sitting. It looks exactly like it did when I got it, except I've sold the seats out of it and a couple other parts, because I'm going to make it into a Superstock replica. And the Superstock replica had A100 seats with aluminum brackets and a 426 Hemi. So what I've done is I started collecting the parts to put it over to the Hemi dark side, and also change the wheels and tires and wheel pattern from 4-inch to 4.5 inch to mimic the Superstock cars as they were. I got to get a Dana 60 for the back. I bought these wheels and tires right over here, these big gigantic jobbies. From Daryl Clausen in Winnipeg. They were actually on his L0 Hemi Dart, an original Hemi Dart that he'd bought, and those are original 1970 15x4 Krager SS wheels, and the other wheels are later model 12-inch wide. This is going to require a narrowing of the rear end for sure, but they're going to look super tough when they're in there, so that's great. Anyway, the Barracuda is in pretty good shape. It needs some panels. Up top there, you can't really see them, but I've got all the panels it needs, except for the quarter panels. I'm going to change them out, put new quarters on it. And the quarters, they're not terrible, but they do need to be fixed. The rockers are bad, so I've got rockers for it. It needs a floor pan. I haven't got that. I'm going to change this hood. I'm going to sell this hood off it and put the fiberglass hood on it. The car already has fiberglass front fenders, so that's a pretty good start for the Superstock look. Over here is the Deora that I built in Cold Lake, Alberta. I moved down here after getting posted to Shearwater. I worked on it for a few days, not even that very long, just to get it to look something like what it's supposed to look like. Can't really see it. It's kind of buried in